Welcome to Keep It Real with Anna and Avarie. We've got a nice little setup in the studio.
I know, I kind of like the couch.
Shout out Lucian. He's like, you guys are a chill show, which we try to be. We aim to be that. We strive, if you will. So yeah, we're hanging out. We're keeping it real.
Yeah.
I would say this past week hasn't really been about sports for us. As you all are aware, severe weather and tornadoes hit Nebraska and devastated a lot of communities into Iowa as well. And it's kind of been a moment to step back, reflect, and really help those in need. And I grew up right here in Elkhorn. Avarie, you have family in Omaha, and of course, Omaha's been your second home throughout your life. Yeah. But I guess just starting there, what's it been like for you and your perspective? I know it's something that's really hit close to home for both of us.
Yeah, for sure. We, like you mentioned, it's like sports and everything else we do on a day-to-day has really been put on the back burner. And I am so thankful for the company we work for because they've so graciously, without question, have really put work on pause for us to go help the community and just try to be some sort of light to those that need it this week. And I think, I mean, you can speak on this too, but just the things that we've seen, not only just the stories we've heard, but, you know, it really has like devastated so many people in this community. And obviously, it's been a really tough week, and we're the fortunate ones who have truly been unaffected by the damage. But to go out in the community and truly see these homeowners and see people that, you know, maybe see our stuff or we interact with them or we share certain interests and whatever, like all differences have been put aside and everyone's just doing whatever they can to help one another. And so if there's been a positive out of all of it, I would say that would be that, to just see, you know, people are introducing themselves to one another just so they can get to know people's names, so they can help pass on cinder blocks or separate wood and metal and all those things. But yeah, it's been crazy. I felt afterwards like there's just almost like a weird sense of guilt. And I don't know if that's like natural, but like I was completely fine. Like not only was the place I was staying was fine, but my actual apartment was fine. And to know that the other side of the city was essentially feeling kind of like a war zone, like it's weird. You're kind of like, how did I end up totally okay? And people's lives have been entirely flipped upside down.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see it firsthand out in Elkhorn and Blair, just some of the communities that we were out and about and trying to do what we can. And it's crazy because like we're helping put stuff together or throw stuff away or separate personal items from just damage. And it's like we feel like we're doing a lot, but at the same time, you look around, you're like, there's so much to do.
There's so much to do.
There's like so much that, so much destruction that's gone there. And Avarie, you mentioned it just about like being out and about in the community, because obviously we do a ton of that in sports. And it's funny because our job is pretty much giving people an escape from life. Like sports is an escape for a lot of this country and a lot of Nebraska. Yeah. I mean, we're picking up pieces of Husker memorabilia and, you know, like I'm uncovering like a Nebraska vintage t-shirt and I'm like, you know, just kind of like reminds me like we're all, you know, we're all the same and we all grew up, you know, here loving sports. And it's like we try to be that outlet for them, and it felt good to give back in that way where we're physically helping those people,
for sure, because
a lot of our job is to be that positive outlet. And like I think Nebraska needs it more than ever right now. And that's what I hope that we can also bring, because like the games go on, life goes on, right? And it's cool to be a part of that in multiple different ways of physically going out there and helping, but also like still covering games and kind of bringing some light to a lot of darkness across the state.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and it's probably a really weird way that it's united us, but you are literally in the foundation of people's homes. And they have no like quite literally, and you don't have the choice but to see all of their belongings everywhere. And it's probably a very vulnerable state for a lot of these families, but I think everyone's done it so graciously and with a lot of compassion and care, and know that these are people's belongings. And like I said, it's a weird way to feel probably united, but like you said, we've seen people that have hockey collections and they have pucks from all over the country. Or we saw this old woman in Blair, her house had 2 unscratched VHS tapes of Nebraska football games. One was an Orange Bowl and the other one I can't remember, but like they couldn't have been more perfect, right? And so at the end of the day, I think he was giving something for us to smile about and give back to them and hand it to them, and then be able to see it and smile and be like, okay, you know what? We may live in different areas around the state, or we may share different things, but
we're all united.
We are united in something, whether it be the school or a sport or a memory. And I think those were things that it puts in perspective. These are probably things we should talk about more often when we get to meet people, right? And I'm not saying like, let's skip right to the Nebraska football topic, but you know what I mean? Like there's things when we see each other's differences so often, there's things that we share in common, and these moments have during just helping one another, just all of those differences aren't even in question. And I think it's been interesting, like you said, to see some of those sports things that we clearly obviously grasp and relate to, but to bring those people maybe a distraction, but some sort of just hope and happiness in those moments. And I think this brings us to probably a pretty interesting topic, but helping these people and seeing one another, whether you knew them already and you went with a group to go help, or it was a stranger or just a random community member or whatever it may be, you can tell that there's just a different sense of people being excited to see one another. And it's just a different level of happiness. Like you're just happy that obviously, thank goodness that we haven't seen any deaths from this. And the amount of injuries has been astonishing, that it's been, I think, under 5.
Yeah.
But people are just happy that their neighbors are alive and that their friends and family are okay. And I think it very quickly reminds you that like it shouldn't take a storm of this caliber to be like, hey, I'm going to give you a hug and say nice things to you every single time I see you. And not to say it in a fake fashion, but the fact that people are just being so generous every time they see someone. We're giving hugs 24/7. It's like, why does it take this for us to embrace one another and be caring and just like see the good in one another versus seeing the bad all the time? And it's been a very eye-opening. And I think it's like the first thing that I've seen when I went to church on Sunday, everyone was giving hugs and like just wanted to be in the embrace of one another. And whether it was just offering a hug or offering, hey, cry, get it out, I'm here for you. And I just think that hopefully this serves, if there's a positive, like I said, as some reminder that we can probably unite more as a community on a day-to-day basis, and we can reach out to our neighbors and our strangers that we don't know more often
and help
other people
regardless if there's a natural disaster or not.
Like I said, it brings us probably a different topic, but it's been something we've only been on the community 2 times this week, and obviously we hope to go more, but in that very short time that we've helped, like that's been, I don't know about you, but it's been very glaring.
Oh yeah. I think in this age too of social media, and what you see online isn't always what's presented. I think it was like almost a breath of fresh air seeing so many people work together who had no idea who each other were, zero connection, zero reason to really be helping other than like the goodness of their hearts. Like these aren't our family members or our friends. Like we don't know their names, but it doesn't matter. Like they're a part of our community. They're a part of our Nebraska family, to where we're like, okay, we want to help you. And to see so many people just come out there and volunteer their time or their money or resources to these people, and like food trucks coming out and feeding the volunteers, it's like, no, people still do care, because I think we get this misconception that people are, a lot more fake nowadays. And, just because of social media and how it's, just kind of fabricated a lot of exchanges in people's lives. And I don't know, it's cool to see the humanity come out. And I mean, even volunteering on Tuesday, was it Tuesday? Monday.
Yeah.
No, yesterday.
Yesterday was Wednesday.
Yeah. All right. So volunteering Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like I went out there to meet you guys, and I ran into the Craig women's basketball coaches.
Yeah.
And then they weren't like making a huge deal about being there, of course, but like they're also in their off season working through the transfer portal. Like they've got things going on. They've got camps, they've got things to attend to, but they took their time to be out there. Omaha softball, literally in the midst of their season,
Omaha
trying
basketball,
to win
Omaha
the Summit
hockey.
League tournament.
Yeah, there were soccer teams out there. I know.
So many different athletes. And I think that's really cool to see student athletes go do that for their community, especially when a day and age that student athletes are heavily criticized. Especially
most of them aren't from here.
Yeah, exactly. And like to see them go and support, and like you said, a lot of them aren't even from here.
Yeah,
it's really cool, because I think as a student athlete, you feel like a connection to your community no matter what, and sort of an obligation to give back when you can. And I was like, whoa, these people really care. And it's like, what are the odds that we go out and volunteer and see 30 people that we know?
Right.
Like that's crazy.
I know. Remember you saying that yesterday? Like I think we were walking back from one of the sites, and just on that short walk we saw like multiple people, yes, in the sports community, but like sports personalities or voices, and not even just like athletes, but the fact that you're like, look at people we know right now.
Yeah.
And like, obviously there's a lot of people we didn't know, but it's just like everyone is doing something or their part. And I remember you saying, you're like, wow, like what are the chances that we're all crossing paths right here, right now?
All these people we know. It's really cool. It's special, but
it is. I mean, obviously it's a very unfortunate event, but like I said, if we're going to find, you know, the positive
silver
aspect,
lining,
yeah, absolutely. I think that's been for sure the thing that stood out. And I think this probably happens naturally after a lot of natural disasters or something traumatic happens in someone's life. I think it puts your life into like okay, this is actually what's important. And I think we've noticed that too. And just like finding people's belongings and stuff like the things that we hold on to every day and we think that are important versus the things that we're finding that people, I mean, the lady we went and helped on Monday, she was like, stuff is just stuff at this point, but these are the things that we are looking for. And
right. And it's like photos wallet, and keys.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, the amount is like, we've seen baby footprints on people's like paper from the hospital and love letters and like dog tags have been passed down. Like all of these things that people actually want, right? Like the things that we value are literally the personal connection things. And like at the root of it's just love, right? Like all these things that represent some sort of personal connection or love versus the things that we hold on to every single day that we think are important.
Yeah, it makes you realize how much stuff you have that you don't need.
Yeah.
Like when you're looking at all the destruction.
I know. And I think that's on more of like an actual strategic point. It came up again, like with volunteers yesterday, as we were picking up literally people's belongings that were thrown just so far away from their house, which is the craziest piece. Like, I don't even think I realized that. Like when we went to that one woman's house on Monday, she was kind of like on her own piece of land. So every single thing that you found, you knew it belonged to her. Or you were in a much more condensed neighborhood yesterday. You don't know whose stuff belongs to who. That was something that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't.
Like whose pictures are these?
This didn't even dawn on me yet. And some of the volunteers were saying how, like the conversation we were just having about the stuff that's actually important, the stuff that you actually would like to hold on to and take into your next home or whenever you have to rebuild or whatever it may be, like having a plan in place for the things that you don't see or need every day. Like, how can I put it all in one spot, a safe place? Like, is it going to be in the basement with me now? Like, is it going to be somewhere tucked away that when I do go downstairs, I can grab it and take it with me? Like, what are those things that we really, truly care about, want to hold on to that can, be all but it's just interesting. It's the conversations that we're seeing as volunteers that you wouldn't think about now that you have this storm experience or this pickup experience. It's like changing once again, like your mindset on what's important. And then how do I prepare effectively for hopefully if and never when a storm like this comes through my town. But it's just the conversations that have come from it. It's been really, really interesting.
Makes you grateful. Makes you really grateful to be where we are and like have the belongings and not be affected. And it also makes you grateful that you're able to help and like physically able, and also just to get to see these people kind of pick up their lives and be a part of hopefully helping that, even if it's just picking up paper or magazines or whatever it may be on the ground. But it's crazy to think about everything that's like how long this is going to take.
Well, I think that's important to bring up because like just the scavenging of people's things and the picking up of their literal own homes, like that is so just the beginning,
right? It's like this is going to take years to fully.
And as much as someone said the other day, and they were like, the adrenaline and the shock will start to wear off for us, even as volunteers, as we're going to help, and it'll start to wear off for these victims too. But like when we as volunteers have to start going back to our daily duties and whatnot, like these families do not.
Right.
Like
they still need help.
Every single thing will revolve around the rebuilding of their home and finding their things and getting basic needs, all of these things. And I think thankfully by the community, a lot of these things have been temporarily taken care of in terms of just some place to stay and hopefully some food and water and that kind of stuff. But I just hope as we move forward, we find ways continuously to
like don't
keep
forget
donating
about this.
And like these neighborhoods are going to need assistance for a very long time. And, we've even had conversations about how like insurance companies and just roofing companies and places like that, they're going to be very busy, but there's also some that aren't necessarily doing right by people. And so making sure that we're the people that offer help and just being available at any possible time, because this is something that, like you said, it's not going to go anytime soon. And if you are a listener that is local and you can think of creative ways to help us in the future, at whether it's when we have College World Series or we have state soccer, or if it's you know, some of these events that we go into the fall and you think of ways that we can be beneficial to these families, please let us know, because we're trying to think outside the box a little bit, because we know the initial cleanup might pass in a month or so, but how can we continue to help them? And I know we have a platform that allows us to spread that word. And also we get to see a lot of you guys at events and stuff, and we want to make sure we're being helpful. So as much as this wears off maybe for the volunteers in the next few weeks, like this will not wear off for the victims for a long time.
We'll drop some links in the description that you can donate your time. Literally anything helps. And I think it truly does. And we'll see the progress as time goes on for sure. But yeah, crazy impactful week. Friday was a whirlwind, and then everything afterwards, I mean, has been something to reflect back on, and we'll never forget. I mean, this past week, I don't think ever in our lives. So it's definitely a lot. But I mean, like we talked about, life does go on, and we have, you know, things that we have to do, and but you just still can't forget about people in need, and hopefully, like you said, we can continue to support them. But we'll have ways you can help. Hard to pivot away from that, Avery,
it is hard to pivot, but I think we'll find a way. I guess we kind of, like, it's weird pivot here, but when we last wrapped up our last episode, it's been a few weeks because it's just been a little bit wild, but we were kind of wrapping up the end of March Madness and that our adventures, and we both actually had a little bit of time off. We were in, however you define off, but we weren't necessarily at a arena or a court or a field necessarily. You got to go home for a little bit. You were in Colorado. Well, your parents' home.
Parents' new home. They moved out to Colorado.
What did Anna Bellinghausen do away from sports?
Well, it's awesome because where my parents live in, they're about like 40 miles southwest of Colorado Springs, and like you're out there. Like there's not a lot of Wi-Fi.
Hey, wait, say that again. You're how many?
We're probably like 40 miles southwest of Colorado Springs. So it's like it's a good distance. It's in Florissant, Colorado. So it's a small town. And like Florissant. Florrisant, spelling bee. Ding ding.
Ding ding. Next round.
So yeah, they're out there on like a ranch. We have neighbors, and it's a neighborhood, believe it or not, but it's like probably, if you wanted to go to Walmart, it would take you like 30 minutes to
Are the
go
mountains
to a
like
store.
in their backyard?
Oh yeah, like Pikes Peak is in their backyard.
Okay,
like,
because my brother goes to school out there, and he's southwest of Colorado Springs, and it's a little more desert-like. And so I was curious, like,
they're in the banana belt, is what they call it out there.
I've never even heard of that.
I don't know. It's like I don't know.
Okay,
my parents could be making.
But they're like in the mountains, though.
Yeah, they're in the mountains.
Okay, they're not deserty.
No, I mean, well, there's not like grass though. It's just basically dirt.
Okay.
But it changes. It's a lot of different sort of. I mean, there's forests and stuff, but around my parents, it's more like dirt, not many trees. And then there's like other areas where there's like forests and stuff. So it's like really, it varies a lot.
Okay.
And like climates too. Like we drive 20 minutes and it's like freezing.
I know.
And then
Isn't that crazy?
At my parents' house, it's like beautiful and sunny.
I know.
It's weird, but
it is weird.
To my point, there's not much Wi-Fi there.
Okay.
There's
it's a good disconnect.
Yeah, it's a good disconnect. Like in the house, yes. But like when I'm driving somewhere, like I can't really get on my phone. So I'm like, I hope nothing crazy happens while I'm gone. I don't remember if anything did, but it didn't matter, obviously, whatever was going on. Got taken care of some way or another. David handled it.
Yeah. Thanks, David.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Mike.
And Mike. But yeah, it was great. It was a lot of just hanging out, family time, went on some hikes, went to Mount Princeton Resort. It's a hot springs resort. Okay. Amazing. Yeah. You must go.
Is it like legit natural though, or no?
They have both. So they have like the bathhouse, which is like pumped in. Yeah. But then they also have hot springs that are like actually supposed to be there. Yeah. It was basically built around this creek. Okay. Of hot springs. So it's super cool. It was really relaxing. We just did like a day pass there. Me and my dad actually just hung out there for the day while my mom worked at home. So yeah, we got a little father-daughter time, hang out. But yeah, it was fun just to like be out in nature and not have to worry about what's going on my phone, because like we unfortunately have to be on our phones a lot, and like 24/7. We love our jobs and everything, but it's like I'm scared to look at my screen time.
Same on Sunday, I swipe it because I'm like, it's my job.
Yeah, I'm like,
swipe it. I know.
Half of it I swear is
actually
me
working.
Not just messing around on my phone. Like I'm actually working.
I know. I think that cracks me up when we walk through our office and like everyone's here yeah, everyone's usually on their laptop, but like everyone's usually like this. But like the next few things, like I go back to my office, like everyone's posted something,
Yeah.
or like everyone's working on something. I can see them like scrolling and whatever. Like it's not just us sitting on our phones ever, which is why the screen time is.
I know it's funny
concerning.
because if you looked at us like all day, we're just like on our phones, and
literally.
but literally half my job is probably on my phone.
I would agree.
It's crazy, but yeah, it was a really fun, relaxing time. You
That's
got some
good.
time with your fam too. Tell me about that.
I was also in Colorado. I wonder, like, were we there at the same time? And we shouldn't know.
I don't know. Were we?
I was there
I was there till April 17th.
So we definitely were.
We definitely were.
We definitely were.
We were probably like 20 minutes away from each other at one time.
Probably.
We just didn't know.
Yeah, because my brother goes to school in Pueblo. And so, but actually I was in Grand Junction for when the first week I was out there, which was crazy. So obviously baseball in Colorado, you would think like, you know, probably not ideal just weather-wise, but it, like you said, it's so changes everywhere. And because they're not necessarily in the mountains, it's usually actually really nice. And when it's like 45 degrees and sunny, I get a sunburn and it's so warm.
Oh yeah.
And I know that like we've gone to Colorado my whole life and I still sit in a baseball stands at his games for a doubleheader and it's like 45 degrees. That's the craziest part. Like I left Omaha or I was in Kansas City, whatever, doesn't matter. And it was like so nice. And I looked at the radar for Colorado and I was like, oh my God, 50. But I was like, oh wait, sunny. I'm good. I'm totally good.
If it's sunny, like it's 10 degrees warmer.
My dad was like, did you wearing a jacket? I'm like, 50 degrees and sunny? Heck no, I didn't. Like I'm getting a tan. I know, but we were in Grand Junction and even though I was away from work, I'm usually always around baseball of some sort, which is a joy to me because you get this. Like we don't go to many games where you just enjoy them. And so to just sit and kind of be the sister and just a fan, like
throw some BP. Did you shag some balls?
No, but I did have to do some BP for my brother.
That's a great sister move.
Yeah, I've had to do it my whole life.
That's tough.
It is. Apparently, I got criticized for not. You're supposed to like go put the ball on the tee, which I know, but like we've gotten to this point where I'm like, you know, you got it. I'm tossing.
Put your own
you
ball
got
on
it,
the
right?
Yeah.
And I was being criticized. Sorry, whatever. Gonna work on my form. If I'm sacrificing my life behind an L screen,
true,
you can put a ball in tee.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you literally could be hit.
End of rant. Yeah, or if my brothers are listening. Yeah. Anyway,
she's a good sister.
Yeah. No, shout out to my brother's academy because when I used to go and do it, they would have like just one screen, and now we've doubled up.
Good.
Thank God. Thank God. Yeah. So if anyone used to see me at Building Champions,
and
I had no, because the old screens, they just were like this and they had like the L or whatever. And like the machine kind of fits in it. And it didn't have like the little like half ridge thing that goes over your head. And I was like, okay, the net's pretty close. Like if it's going to go, it's going to skim the net. This was like a few years back. I think I was like a freshman or sophomore in college. I'd come back in the summer and like my dad was on a trip or like my mom was doing something, whatever. Like I was in charge of going to the cages.
Your
with my
job,
brothers. Yeah. And so I can't remember if anyone was in the academy or not, but literally my brother hits a ball and it does hit the freaking top of the net and it just came right down on my head.
Ooh.
Right down. And so from that point on, I would take one of the bucket, a ball, the caps that has like the squishy foam top, and I would just like put it on my head every time I went. And so then when I was home,
you need a bike helmet.
They finally upgraded the screens to having like the little ridge that like goes over your head. So yeah. Shout out to BC for saving a sister's life out here. But anyway, so I got to watch baseball and it's kind of fun because, you know, you get to be a fan and you're never really a fan anymore. And so that was great. And I've never, ever watched a baseball game in the snow ever. Like of all my years, like my brothers,
that's kind of surprising.
Usually they're in the summer and then college baseball's in the spring. And so you never really know what you're going to get. And you would think based on where we were at in Grand Junction, it was going to be like nicer. And it was, the sun would come out and we were all like taking our sweatshirts off. And then they had a double header and it was like pouring snow. And they kept playing, obviously. It was the first time ever. They won the game. It was crazy, but it was the first time I've literally ever had a snow baseball game.
Wow.
Check that one off the don't recommend. Sucked. Terrible. Then the game later was like, couldn't have been nicer. I was like, Colorado.
See, that's the weird thing about like we say weather in Nebraska like switches up on you, but weather in Colorado is like a different level.
It is.
Because it literally can snow and then it'll melt in an hour and then it's
nice,
beautiful outside.
I know, and anytime you get like an afternoon shower, it's just that. Yeah. Like there's no like long drawn out thunderstorm.
For sure. Yeah,
you gotta be ready for everything.
You gotta be ready.
But yeah, so I got to be a sister again, which is fun and great, and a baseball sister, which is fantastic. And then I went back out to Pueblo. I only get to see him play like in April because like March is crazy. Our May picks up again, and then before
Forget
you know
about
it,
June.
I know. Yeah, June's off. Yeah, and he's done at that point, and so he'll go play summer ball somewhere. So unless I get to go watch him play summer ball, like it's just so crazy. Like I have a younger brother that'll be joining him next year. So they get 1 year of college baseball together, which will be so cool. But
that is cool.
We don't know what my older brother's like post-college baseball plans look like yet. I think there's a potential that he could find a way to continue to play. But to think that that part of the journey is like, we have a guaranteed year left, like I want to like crumple into the floor, you know, like I don't even know how to like process that, which is crazy. But so all the time that I get away from sports, working sports,
you spend
I cherish. So, yeah, I do. I know. So, I mean, like I look back on like now that we've gone down the family thing, like, and I think you get this because you talk about how often you used to like play catch with your dad and all these things. But like, I was legitimately the sister that would like tell my dad and my brother, I'm like, you will not leave for warm-ups without me. Like I'm coming, like, because that was my time that I got to play catch with them. Or like if they did, you know, pop flies in the outfield during warm-ups, like I was the sister out there that was like catching them. And I remember the day that finally, like, well, he's one of our family friends. That was my brother's youth baseball coach. And they were like, okay, Averie, like we've hit the day where like, you cannot catch we've graduated to more competitive baseball now. And I was like, what? Yeah. I can't catch the baseballs anymore.
Yeah, you can't catch these anymore.
And so, it's been a long road, but I think that's where it's been fostered, obviously. But I really appreciate the time that we do get. That is not the working of the sports, but the enjoying of. And I know you get that too.
No, I mean, you realize how much more important family time is as you get older and like more busy. Like, of course, we all have our lives, but it's so important to like take that time that you can to spend time with your family and like just soak every moment in, because like everyone is growing up and it's, you know, it's sad, but it's the time that's passing. It's funny though, you mentioned like your siblings and stuff. My sister like hated sports. So I would like beg her to go outside and play catch with me. And like the one time I convinced her to go outside and throw a football, I broke her finger. So like she like never lived that down. She like never
really
lived that
ruined your
down.
chance there.
Yeah, and so I was always dragging my dad outside.
Were you like the kid in the back that would like throw the ball and then like go get it to yourself?
Oh yeah. I would, if you saw me in my backyard, it looked like I was training for like a triathlon. I was like had every sort of sports ball out there. I was like I was playing like croquet at some points, like just anything I could get my hands on.
Did you ever watch like I'm sure you did, like College Game Day, you know how they had like the special features and stuff, or like they would just have like the E60s where they would like sit down with an athlete or whatever?
Oh yeah,
literally I understand what you're saying to a T. Like I would put these like what's it called, like a like an obstacle course together. We'd have to like do like a drill of like basketball.
I'd have ladders, and
something, right? And then
hula hoops.
And like I had a few of my friends that played sports that lived around me, and I'd like try to get them to do it with me, and they'd do a few, and then they'd like kind of give up, want to do something else. And I was like, no, guys, this like, and I'd like have this I was like convinced that like someone was gonna drive by and like,
notice
see us
you,
training really hard. And so like one of them was like, I saw this thing one time on like one of these E60s that they interviewed this like basketball player, and he used to like do this crazy drill to like get his ball handling good. So I used to make like my friends, we were like 7 or 8, like not kidding. And I would make us walk around my house with a basketball in our non-dominant hand and like balance it. And so it wouldn't drop because I was like, someone's gonna drive by and they're gonna ask what we're doing, and they're gonna do an interview with us. Like I was so convinced.
No,
like
I was the same way.
And I'm like, I'm gonna be the kid that's staying out late and like shooting hoops or juggling when it's dark out, because someone one day's me like, I remember when she used to juggle in the dark. Like,
that's actually crazy because when I did one of the CBS games for South Dakota State, I'm pretty sure it was Matt Mims, who was like an incredible player for SDSU.
Oh my god, he did the thing.
He was noticed. Yeah, no, he didn't.
Oh,
yeah, no, he didn't do that.
Oh,
he was noticed by his neighbor. And that's how he got on his basketball journey, because his neighbor was the head coach's like former college roommate. And he's like, he told head coach Henderson.
Yeah.
That's his name, right? Yeah. Coach Henderson was like, hey, watch out for this kid, Matt. Like, he's really good. I see him in his driveway like all the time with his brother. Like, I think he's actually gonna be good. And so Henderson was like, all right, like I'll keep him on my radar.
That's
and like
crazy.
Years like flash forward, and he's like actually recruiting him from playing
wrong neighbors.
Same. That's what I said. I'm like, I grew up in the wrong neighborhood because I was not noticed by. I also lived in a circle, so I was at a disadvantage. I didn't have the cars driving by as much. But oh yeah, I was out in the backyard.
Yeah.
Throwing like baseballs against my house. My parents would be so mad. I'm surprised did you ever break a window? Or your brothers?
My brothers and I would play like wall ball with a tennis ball in the front, and like
my parents get so mad.
We'd hit the light.
Yeah.
And then we had to like go take another ball and like try to straighten it. And then someone would come out and they'd like see us like intentionally throwing a ball.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, playing in the backyard was wild. Like,
I know.
the stuff we
Do
would
kids
make
still
up.
play in the backyard?
I think so.
I hope so. God, I hope so.
I hope so too, because
true athletes
that's where dreams are made, honestly. Literally, the backyard.
You said dreams are made. I said athletes are dream, or what I say? I'm born.
Athletes
made.
are born.
Yeah, something
both.
like that.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I was like kicking field goals in like 30 degrees. Like, why am I kicking field goals in my backyard? Like,
we thought we were gonna be noticed.
Yeah, I was like, someone's gonna notice me. I'm gonna be a kicker on an NFL team.
Seriously, no, I did. I literally was like, hey, we're gonna do the most outlandish things because someday when I get interviewed, I want to tell them the things that I did.
Yeah.
Oh, and here we are. We do the interviewing. We're never noticed.
I know.
We're like, fine, we'll do the noticing for you.
Yeah. Follow your dreams, kids.
Yeah, seriously.
If that's anything, we'll give you that advice. Follow your dreams. Well, Averie, great episode today.
Sentimental.
Yeah. We'll give you guys links to go help.
Absolutely.
Volunteer time, resources, literally anything helps. Keep at it, keep following us, and we'll update you. I think we're gonna do this every Monday. Release an episode every Monday.
Yeah, we've been doing our best to be committed.
Yeah,
we're trying our best. We are. I think
it's not you, it's us.
That's true.
Lucian's laughing. Thanks, Lucian.
Funny, good. Yeah, it is. It is us. Unfortunately, we will point the finger at us here.
Yep. We're busy gals, but we'll get it done.
We're doing our best. We're being as consistent as we possibly can. And we actually ramp back up here soon. And so we'll have some fun stuff. Yep. High school sports in Nebraska are so fun. And we are
soccer,
entering
baseball,
track. We're entering into that.
How can I forget track?
What the heck?
Oh my gosh.
Fake.
That was fake.
Athlete. I know. And we will have conference baseball coming up soon. And if you're paying attention, the state of Nebraska, once again, is doing quite all right.
We could have a couple teams in the tournament. Don't know.
That is true.
Creighton will have to get an at-large bid. They're literally like 4th or 5th, and I think they're 5th right now in their conference standings.
Which is crazy.
They've won 31 games this year, though.
I know, that is crazy. I know. Nebraska's doing well. Omaha's doing well. They sit in 2nd right now behind St. Thomas.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Unless I didn't read that correctly.
No, I believe you.
Yeah, it's today. I was looking today. Yeah. And also, we might have something about this school soon, but attendance for all 3 programs in the state of Nebraska are not only, if they aren't in 1st, they're in 2nd.
Wow.
I know.
Nebraskans love their sports.
They do. So we'll have a lot of fun stuff coming up. And then before you know it, it is June.
You know what that means? We're probably not talking to you for a whole month. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So true. We have so many fun things planned.
No, we'll actually be talking to you a lot more, and you're gonna be sick of us by then.
Yeah.
But
so then we'll have things banked up, and we can be like, okay.
We'll be recording from the CWS. Actually, is what's
with
happen.
Cool stuff.
You'll see us there.
Yeah. So like once again, please let us know if you have ways that we can be helping people that we're not considering.
Yeah.
I know we're thinking of all the physical things right now, but if there's other things, please let us know. And I guess just as your reminder, just to be compassionate, be extra kind. Everyone needs it right now.
Yeah.
And if you can offer a hug, offer a hug.
And keep it real. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll talk to you next Monday.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.